So we are having carnitas and pollos tacos today. I made up some corn tortillas, so we're going to fry those up in a little bit. And we're going to make salsa. Our first salsa that we're making is salsa picante. But in addition to the tacos, we are making chicken tortilla soup. And later on, we're making caramel empanadas and some margaritas because tequila is happening today. I have a not so well kept secret. I love to cook, to bake, to create. The kitchen is where I come to unwind, to think, to not think, to learn, to divulge, to be loud, to find peace and solitude, to sing and to dance. The kitchen is where I am free to be me. It's where I get to love. Odds are, if I've cooked for you, I've prayed for you, I've loved on you in some type of way. I just love feeding people. I am going to saute some vegetables and then add the tomatoes and that poblano pepper with the bell pepper and garlic into the soup, because the chicken is now done. So we're going to use that and build it as if it's our broth, so to speak. So I am going to saute some onions. Some red onions to be more exact. Add in just a little bit of olive oil. I'm choosing a different pan so I don't have to transfer so much liquid. And we're going to give that a second. But in the meantime, we can get started on our apple salsa. So I just have one medium-sized Granny Smith apple. And I'm going to have an apple, a jalapeno, a little bit of bell pepper, some lime juice, a little bit of honey, some sea salt and black pepper, and just all types of good stuff we're going to have in there. Alrighty. So, just want to chop these up. They don't have to be super small, or really, you want to keep them relatively uniform if possible, but nobody's quite a professional yet, so it's okay. Some of them look a little bit differently, but you do want to try to stay as consistent as possible in your chopping for this salsa. I have some red onions going with some garlic. We're going to saute that up because this fire got really hot really quick. Praise God. And you don't want to burn your garlic because then it can get bitter. So now is about that time. I am going to add it to this beer broth. Just going to add it right in. Be careful though, add it slowly because you don't want to splatter that broth everywhere. So we're just going to add that in. I'm going to add my tomatoes, the poblano pepper, the green bell pepper, and tomatoes. So I'm adding some black beans in here. I'm not adding a whole lot. It's about a cup, actually a little less than a cup. You can add as many or as little as you would like, or you can omit them, but traditionally beans are in this soup, if I'm not mistaken. And I love chicken tortilla soup. It's one of the very few soups that I'll eat without being forced while I'm sick. So we're just going to give that a stir. In just a moment, I am going to add some cornmeal just as a thickening agent. And towards the end, I am going to cut up that chicken and add it back in. I'm going to add maybe a few more spices just to check for the seasoning. Again, I have some cinnamon, some cumin, some paprika, some oregano, parsley, black pepper, and sea salt. I also have a bay leaf in there. And I am adding a dried chipotle chili. It's going to add so much flavor. And we'll be right back. Now we have our salsa picante. I have about a tomato and a half with about half of a bell pepper, 1/3 of a large red onion, and I have some garlic in there. It's about 2 large cloves, maybe the equivalent to 2 large cloves of garlic. So we're just going to pulse this so that it is nice and chunky, and then we're going to simmer it, add some parsley, oregano, and fresh cilantro. We're going to add that in with just a touch of honey, sea salt, and black pepper. There's also a whole jalapeno in there. I put just a few seeds in it. I know some people don't like it too spicy, so if you don't like that much spice, do not use the seeds because that is where the heat is. And also have a little bit of poblano pepper in there as well. So now I'm just going to fry up our corn tortillas. I was going to make flour today, but for the sake of time, I just made corn. It'll be about 1 minute to 2 minutes on each side, depending on how large they are. For larger ones, maybe 3 to 4 minutes. But yeah, just gonna fry them up if you can, maybe one at a time because you want to keep the heat high. So I have fried up all of the tortillas. Most of them are in the oven staying warm, but I wanted to assemble and have someone try them so I know that they are as delicious as I hope they are. So I fried up the corn tortillas. These right here, the puffy ones, I fried the raw tortilla dough, and for the one I folded over, these I cooked using a cast iron skillet, just about 1 to 2 minutes on each side, and then I used tongs to kind of hold them in place. This one curved over a little bit more, but I prevailed, and chicken is inside. That actually was not as messy as I thought it would be. I am just cutting some vegetable shortening into my dry ingredients. I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. I use unbleached and unrefined because most of the time I use alternative flours or like whole wheat or something like that. I also have 3 teaspoons of baking powder, a dash and a half of cinnamon, and I just put a half a cup of vegetable shortening in here. And now I'm going to add an egg. I'm actually going to beat it first because I just cracked it. Alrighty, let's see. Just gonna lightly beat this egg. And I'm gonna add it in. Then I'm gonna add 3/4 cup of water. And then once that comes into a dough, I am going to let that rest in the refrigerator and get started on the apple filling. It's time for that tequila part of tacos and tequila. So I am making pineapple peach margaritas. So as you can see, I'm cutting up the peaches, and I already have diced up some pineapple. You can use canned or frozen or whatever is your preference, but personally I used fresh. I like to keep it on hand and freeze it so I can make smoothies. So I have some tequila. You can use your favorite brand of tequila, and I normally use brown or gold tequila, and I also have some key lime juice in there, a little bit of raw sugar. This is gonna make for a good time. Okay, so we finally finished the soup. I know you're like, wait, you already started on dessert, you already ate tacos and tostadas, but now you're gonna make soup? Yes, because we're gonna do what we want in this kitchen. So that's how it happens. But we just finished it. I garnished it or finished it off with some tortilla strips. Yes, of those same corn tortillas I made earlier. And I have a little bit of avocado and some cilantro. And you can add sour cream if you like, or whatever fixings you enjoy in your soup. So that was, you just needed some time to let it cook low and slow and just have lots of loving. Along the way, I did add some onion powder, garlic powder, and a little bit of coriander. So we're just going to get a little bit of filling and pop it right there in the middle. Those are some candied apples, okay? Alright, so we're just going to seal this up like so. And when you cut the circles out, if it's still a little thick to your liking, you definitely can roll it out a little bit more. It's okay if it doesn't exactly keep the shape perfectly. That is okay as long as it seals, because you don't want those apples to get out while it's frying. That's not going to be a good look. And I'm going to freeze these. Typically you would refrigerate them for a few hours. We don't have a few hours today, so we're going to freeze them. Now we are finally ready to fry up our caramel empanadas. I already whipped up a really quick caramel sauce. I didn't make a lot, just a little bit. So I tested to see if my oil was hot. And so I'm just going to start off with frying the one, because I want to make sure the oil is at the temperature I like it, since I am not using an electric deep fryer. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you learned something, or if not, I hope you were at least entertained. So if no one has told you, if no one has shown you, I love you, but God loves you better. God bless. Everybody say hello to my bestest friend in the world, Mila.
Okay.
And she doesn't lie to me. She's a very honest spouse. We're in a very heterosexual marriage. It's real love. She said, KB, do you love me? And I said, hell yeah, I do. Heck yeah, I do. So,
okay, I'm going to try this one because it seems like it's easiest to bake.
okay. Yeah, the other ones are going to be way messy, but it'll be okay. The best food is the messiest, don't you think? I know because it's all over my shirt all the time.
I like this one.
Oh, it has crunch.
Oh, it's crunch.
I love crunch. You got to have some elements, you guys.
You already know I add salt because I'm
She's a salt
addicted
fiend.
to salt.
She's a salt fiend. Say hi to BJ, everybody. Isn't she gorgeous?
Don't bite.
Look at her in this CC.
You said don't do that.
It's a CC what? It's a
CC
CC
exclusive.
It's a CC exclusive. I was gonna say original, but that might not have been true.
Oh, no, I gotta get in it.
Okay.
I gotta make my way.
Get in there.
Bite cautiously. It might
Pick up the pieces.
Oh, that's good.
Yay.
Caramel's good too.
Yay. And it's burnt caramel. Notice I said burnt with a T, not burned with an ED. There is a difference. Please know the difference. Burned caramel is disgusting. So there's that.